keep going. That's what we need to do.
Another week again, it's not guaranteed. Keep punching him in the face. DeMarcus. Don't get satisfied. Let's go.
The AT&T Stadium crowd is making a lot of noise.
Right now, make him.
I hope for the same thing.
It is a spectacle, this place.
Come on, take the ball away, bitch. Let's go now.
Cowboys on 3. Make it loud. 1, 2, 3. Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys have snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 37-10 victory over the Eagles, now at 4-3 and still atop the NFC East. Welcome in to Cowboys Flashback. I'm Dani Sureck. The Cowboys played their most complimentary football of the season, and it all started with the defense. The Cowboys finished with a season-high 4 takeaways, the first coming on just the 5th play of the game when linebacker Jalen Smith forced a fumble and defensive tackle Malik Collins recovered it. On the next drive, wide receiver Tavon Austin took it to the house for the Cowboys' first opening drive touchdown of the season. Prior to the game, Eagles head coach Doug Peterson said his team was coming to Dallas, and he guaranteed a win for the Eagles to take the top spot in the division. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence had choice words in response to Peterson. Lawrence finished the game with 2 sacks and a forced fumble. He didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk.
We knew what it was when we entered the game. We knew what they was coming to do. We playing for first place in the division. And we wanted to make sure we, came out here and capitalized.
Getting the sack against the Eagles, which has been a long time coming, and then you get to do the bow to the crowd. That's a new move. That's a new tank move. Solemn bow.
Yeah, I had high hopes I was going to get more sacks tonight. I ain't accomplished my goal, but waiting on the next time we see them.
When you look around at teammates who on Wednesday and Thursday could barely walk around the facility, and today they're playing at a high level, what does that do in terms of inspiration?
It's major motivation, not just for me, but for all the teammates in here, and that, your guy, is limping around and hurting, but he still comes out and battle with you. So, just having that fight mentality around the team is very special.
What does it feel like for this unit to have the breakthrough and the turnovers that you guys did tonight?
Yeah, it was huge. It was all about getting back to the basics and playing elite defense, and that's what we came and did tonight.
Were you aware that going into the game you were the only team that did not have a possession at the game on the opponent's side of the 50, no short fields, in other words, and then you created 3 of them tonight?
Yeah, we wasn't aware, but we was aware that we needed to pick up our energy and our demeanor and go out there and establish a team defense.
Closer, to where we're trying to go. It looked a lot more like it. Still some areas to clean up. However, we're going to enjoy this win. Feels great.
Jalen, how much did it mean for you and DeMarcus, of all people, the 2 defensive leaders, to set the tone and get you guys off to such a good start on the Eagles' first 2 offensive possessions?
It matters, when you're a captain and you're a leader of the defense and one of the leaders of the team. You have to make plays that make a difference in the game. And it's something that me and Tank, we pride ourselves on, being playmakers. And it's important that our coaches believe in us and our players believe in us, and we believe in ourselves. As long as we continue to do that, we're going to be fine.
Smith says the offense and defense feed off each other, which is why that complementary football is so vital in the team's success. Up next, we'll see why the Cowboys offense was so prolific against the Eagles.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Rico's products make every game a home game with Rico's. Cigna, together all the way. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
1st and goal, and they're going to give it to Elliott, coming left, pounding at the goal line, touchdown Elliott. Take that.
Running back Ezekiel Elliott rushed for a touchdown for his 4th straight game, a career-long streak for him. He finished Sunday's game with 111 yards and surpassed the 6,000 scrimmage yard mark in just 47 career games. He is tied as the second fastest player to hit that milestone with running backs Le'Veon Bell and Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson. The fastest player to do so, Edgerrin James, in just 44 games. The Cowboys offense looks significantly different from what we've seen the last 3 games and at times all season. The Cowboys went into the second half with 27 points, the most points they've had after a first half all season, and they finished the game with 37, a season high. Elliott credits the way the defense played to how well the offense performed because he says the turnovers created momentum. It also helps having starting tackles Tyron Smith and La'el Collins back in the lineup after suffering from an ankle and knee injury respectively. Let's hear more from Elliott postgame.
I mean, I think it's the O-line. That's what it is. O-line come out there and, you know, they played their tail off. They had a great game today. They did a good job establishing line of scrimmage, moving those big guys off the ball, neutralizing that strong front four from Philly, and you know, they got us going.
What does it mean to have a dominant win as opposed to just barely winning or losing this game?
This team needed this. This team definitely needed this win, especially in the fashion we did it. You know, this is get some momentum for this season, get some momentum going into this bye week, so we can, you know, close this season all right.
Thanks, Steve.
How much were you trying to set the tone? I mean, on that run, you put your head down and up and Vegas like that. I mean, were you trying to do a little bit more and maybe set the tone yourself?
That's how I play every week. You know, I like to look at the defense as like a shield. You know, in the first quarter, you hit them a couple times. You're gonna dent the shield. You're gonna make it splinter a little bit. But you know, as you keep hitting it, little pieces will keep breaking off, and eventually it's gonna break. So I mean, that's my mentality going into every game. And I mean, we came out there and did our thing tonight.
I asked Jerry, is it finally good to hear people talk about all the things that make the Cowboys right instead of all the things they think were going wrong?
I mean, we honestly don't care what people say. All we care about is this locker room, this group of guys, and, you know, getting better as a football team and going out there and winning football games.
You got fired up in the open kickoff, like some guys getting into the Eagles. Anything he said fire you guys up, or is it just because of the magnitude?
We don't need another man to say some stuff to fire us up. You know what I mean? We really didn't care what he said earlier in the week. I think it might have been an accident, actually, but I mean, it's just the energy here. The fans came out ready. You know, as soon as I got on the field today in pregame warmers, I could feel the energy from the crowd, and so I mean, the fans got us pumped, and you know, we were pumped for this division game. And I mean, it's NFC East football. What do you expect?
You said you don't care about what other people have to say. What statement did you make to yourselves?
You know, just that we are that football team. We are a good football team that, you know, if we go out there and handle our business, it's going to be hard for a lot of teams in this league to beat us. So, I mean, but we have to go out there and take care of our business. We can't go out there and BS. We got to go out there and I mean, I think that's just the mentality of this offense. We got a physical offensive line, physical tight ends, physical receivers, blocking wise, and we like to wear guys down.
The focus for the Cowboys going into the Eagles game was early execution, something they had been lacking as of late. With their 37-10 win, they changed that narrative with the largest victory against Philadelphia since 1998. Up next, we'll hear from QB1 on the Cowboys' strong performance in Sunday's win.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
Quarterback Dak Prescott rushed for his 15th career touchdown in Sunday's game, surpassing Hall of Fame quarterback Roger Staubach for the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in team history. Every time the Eagles and Cowboys meet up, there are comparisons made about Prescott, who was the 135th pick in the 2016 draft, and Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz, the second overall draft pick. Wentz finished the game with 191 yards and 1 touchdown. Prescott, 21 of 27, 239 yards, 1 rushing, 1 passing touchdown. He is now 16-5 against his NFC East rivals. Prescott says he had no doubt in his mind the Cowboys would perform the way they did after increasing their intensity and their preparation in order to beat their 3-game losing streak. He says the Cowboys doubled down on who they are, and they proved that in Sunday's win.
When we have the offensive line in the run game like we do, that allows us to get to that and get to all of our different plays that we want to in the run game and open up everything from there. So it's all about starting fast. That's been our struggles all year long. We're able to do it tonight and come up with a performance like this. So, I mean, credit the defense, getting us those short fields. As I said, it was just great complementary football, the best we played all year.
Can you talk about Amari Cooper's play coming off the injury and what he was able to do tonight?
Yeah, a guy just shows up each and every week when he's healthy and makes plays. Nothing short of what he does at practice. Prepares the right way. I've talked about how he's always watching film, how he's always studying his DBs. We're in the huddle. He's talking about how he's going to run this route. So to make sure the guy that's clearing out the guy in front of him does that, communicating that, just a very intelligent and smart player. And when it comes Sundays, he puts all of his study out there and just goes and executes and makes a great play after play.
So 4th and 1 near midfield in the second quarter, did your eyes light up when you knew the ball was going to be in your hands?
Definitely. I love that play call, and we executed it the right way. It was a great call.
Was it more aggressive, the play calling, because you guys got that early lead? Is that what allowed them to open up the playbook, as you mentioned?
I don't know. I mean, we've got a coach that's aggressive. We got a coach that believes in our offense and believes in the guys that he has. I mean, we're in the situation last weekend, and we did the same thing. So that's just kind of who we are. That's who this team is, believes in himself, knows we have the players that can go make those plays and have an immense amount of confidence in that. So whether you're up or whether you're down, I think that's who we are in those situations.
What do you think it is about Jason to make those kind of calls? Because as you said, it's not one of the first times he's done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's trust in the players. It's something that he always says, but his belief and trust in the guys to execute the play call. I mean, he has so much trust in the offense and so much trust in the team. I mean, you have just as much trust in the defense side, that situation, because if you don't get it, you know they're gonna make the plays to get the ball back to you. So he trusts his players, and that says a lot as a player. It means a lot as a player.
Prescott says this team needs to handle success the right way in order to avoid having a backs-against-the-wall mentality again. Up next, we'll talk about how wide receiver Amari Cooper performed despite not having a full week of practice. Wide receiver Amari Cooper left the game against the Jets early last week with a quad injury and only practiced on Friday leading up to the Eagles game. However, he still found a way to make an impact. He finished the game with 106 yards, averaging more than 21 yards per catch. Although he did not have a touchdown, his presence alone elevated the offense in a way it couldn't when he wasn't on the field last week. Cooper says it felt good to get a good start on both offense and defense this week. However, he is level-headed and says the team can still find ways to improve.
I don't know if we've proved much, you know. I just think we obviously won a very important game, but we still have to have that back-to-the-wall mentality because, you know, that's really where we still at. So.
Maher, how much easier it is when Zeke's getting off early and that O-line's firing off?
I mean, anytime you can establish the running game early, that's very important. You know, Zeke is a heck of a player, and I mean, we need him to do that every game, you know what I'm saying? So it's really important for us. It creates first downs, and obviously, you know, the more first downs you get in a drive, the bigger the chances, the bigger the likelihood of you to score. So, yeah.
When you were going through the pregame routine that you do, did you feel like you were feeling better than you did before the Jets game?
Yeah, for sure. I felt a lot better. Yeah.
So, like, you felt like going into the game that you probably would be able to do everything that you normally do on a Sunday?
I felt like I could do my job. Yeah.
How big is it when you and Zeke are able to take over games like the way you guys did?
Man, if I can ball out in the same game that Zeke balls out in, we will never lose.
Why do you think you have so much success against the Eagles?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but I don't know.
Sense that Jalen's getting a little frustrated?
What's that?
Did you sense that Jalen's getting a little frustrated out there? Some of the corners?
No, not really.
Did it inspire you when you saw Zeke run over Malcolm Jenkins? Did that kind of inspire the rest of the offense?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
You didn't see a replay of it?
No,
he kind of trucked him. Yeah.
I don't know what play you talking about. I didn't see it. Seriously.
Okay. Yeah, which is when they called down at the 1 yard line. You get a look at that.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll answer it next time.
Okay.
Did you see even if you felt better, I'm sure you're still dealing with some pain. Just how does adrenaline play a role in that? I mean, when you get into a flow, do you even feel it anymore?
You do. It's like, when you get the ball, it's crazy because you really want the ball. Obviously, as a offensive player who makes his hay with the ball in his hands. But it's crazy when you get the ball and you actually get tackled. That's when you actually feel your injuries because you go to the ground and you make hard plays and stuff like that. It's like every time I get the ball, I kind of feel a little something. So I have to, have to take a couple of plays, and just wait until the instant pain goes away. So.
Cooper says if this team can continue to be disruptive on both sides of the ball, they become incredibly dangerous. Kicker Brett Maher broke 2 records in the game. I'll tell you which ones next. Kicker Brett Maher missed 3 field goals in the previous 2 games. However, he quieted the haters when he made a 63-yard field goal against the Eagles, the longest in franchise history, and he is now the first player in NFL history to make 3 60-plus yard field goals. Maher caught up with Brad Sham and Babe Laufenberg after the game.
The Cowboys needed to stop the bleeding, and they stopped it and caused some bleeding and go into their bye on a big celebration after a huge 37-10 win over the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Hi, everybody. It's the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Brad Sham with Babe Laufenberg, and there were a lot of heroes and headliners for the Cowboys tonight, but none of them were bigger than kicker Brett Maher, who put the signature on it with a 63-yarder that not only was the longest in Cowboys history, but Brett Maher now is the first kicker in the history of the NFL to have 3 60-plus kicks in his career, and your career is not as long yet as the 2 guys who had 2 60-yarders before you. Now, did you know that was just a piece of cake all along? What did you think was your because you looked like you had about a couple yards to spare.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a piece of cake. The way the whole scenario played out, though, and you look at our defense getting a big stop inside of 2 minutes, forcing a punt, our offense coming back with 1 timeout and getting us in range and giving us a chance, and Coach Garrett, Coach O'Quinn having faith in us to go out there and get it done. So, it was more than just myself to get us into that scenario, and then you look at that play. They've got a good field goal rush team. They've blocked several of the last few years, and then Chris and LP are, just always count on them.
I'm sure that Jason Garrett and Keith O'Quinn, the special teams coach, had to have conversations with you before the last sequence to say, okay, what's the range? Where are we trying to get to here? What was those conversations like?
That stuff's done pregame or even during the week. So that was there wasn't really any communication during that drive. I think that line was just kind of already known, and it showed by how the offense called plays and used timeouts and did that stuff too. So it was, used the term complementary for football. I felt like that sequence was it at its finest.
Brett, when you look at a kicker's stats, they're broken down into 10-yard increments, 30 to 39, 40 to 49. You're 3 for 3 from 60 plus. So how do you explain that?
By the way, not a line you see a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are opportunities that just don't come up very often. So to have 3 of them in a year and a half is, one, pretty crazy, and then to be able to take advantage of them is pretty fun.
And you also had one against Philadelphia last year in the overtime game, where if you don't hit that one before the half, it may not get to overtime. How much do you think the Philadelphia fan wants to see Brett Maher as their kicker right now?
I don't know. They got a good one. Jake's off to a great start in his
career. He also has a 61-yarder, by the way.
He's pretty solid for that,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
But how much fun is that? But on the one hand, too, when you go out there, is there a little pressure off you in the sense that nobody really expects you to make a 63-yarder?
I don't feel that, really. I expect to make it. So that's... I say I try to go out there and go 1 for 1 every time, and if I tell Coach that it's in range, then I expect to make it.
Maher says he usually only practices from the 56 or 57-yard mark, definitely not the 63. Maher has 2 young daughters and says they probably didn't see the field goal because they have preschool early Monday morning, and when asked if he would show them the kick, he smiled and said, we'll probably just go to the park instead. The Cowboys are now on their bye week and won't play again until November 4th, a Monday Night Football game against the Giants in New York. However, there is always plenty of Dallas Cowboys news to stay up to date on, and you can do just that on DallasCowboys.com. That'll do it for Cowboys Flashback this week. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dani Sureck.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Academy, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys. Reliant, an NRG company. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.